Hey guys, happy Wednesday. I am back and I wanted to do a quick review on When the Moon Hatched by Sarah A. Parker. This is the first book in a new series called the Moonfall series. I just heard that book 2 is not going to be out until 2026, which I'm kind of bummed about because I liked this book. I really enjoyed it. I think I finished it in about 24 hours. So this book is essentially about Rave, who is a young woman, young fae woman in this world, and she is an assassin. She takes out bad guys for this underground resistance entity within her city. The love interest, her foil in this, is Khan, who is a ruler of one of the kingdoms in this world. Now, this world, just to give you a brief overview, is a really cool concept. It is a stationary world where one part is constantly in the sun, the other part is constantly in the shade, and then there is a part in the middle called the fade. So you've got the burn, the fade, and the shade. And in each section, you have a different ruler, and you have different types of dragons. So there are dragons in here. The things that were slightly negative for me, we'll get those out of the way first, because there weren't many of them. I tend to approach romantasy with hesitancy because sometimes I find it has a little bit of try hard in there. There's always sometimes too much banter, sometimes too much flowery language to emote, sometimes a little too much redundancy in, especially in the female main character's intentions of, beating the crap out of the bad guy and how awesomely she's going to do that. I do feel that this book partook in all of those things. And by the way, if you like that stuff, this is no judgment. These are just my personal opinions as somebody who is coming from, I like to read historically, I like more of a high fantasy, young adult fantasy, and historical literary fiction. That's kind of where I'm coming from. So romantasy is not my thing. I'm more of a high fantasy kind of girl. So no judgment, just if you're coming from that same kind of background, just know that that stuff is in here. However, I did not find those, what for me are pitfalls, to be too obtrusive or so distracting that it kept me from enjoying the story. Now, positives. I loved the world building in this book. I found it to be so incredibly interesting and unique. I wanted to know more. I want to know more. I love that there's a glossary in here. I know that throws some people off as somebody who has read fantasy quite a bit in my life. That's just something I kind of expect to be in a high fantasy book. So I really liked that was in there. I love the creation story. I love the magic system. I like the relationship that these people have with their dragons. I want to see more of it. I'm intrigued by it. I feel like the book gave me just enough, and we're going to learn more and more about it, which I'm excited about. I love the chemistry that the main characters had, not just with each other, but with the side characters around them. I find the side characters to be, again, intriguing and interesting, and I want to know more about them. And I liked the pacing in this book. I never found myself to be bored. Is this a big old chonkin' book? Yes, it comes in just under 700 pages. I know one of the big kind of detractors for a lot of people is that there is not a lot of action in this book. I don't find that to be true. I find that there's a lot of action. There is just not a lot of action in regard to the overall, what will be the overall story, I'm assuming, for this series. There was a lot of buildup. There was a lot of really foundational work done to tell you who these characters are, what their motivations are, and really give you a glimpse of this world. Overall, yeah, I really like this book. I've been thinking about it a lot, to the point where I was like, dang it, the next one's not coming out till 2026. That's a bummer. I could see myself rereading this book. I really, really enjoyed it. It is not again, it's not a 5-star read for me, but if you are somebody who likes high fantasy and you like a little bit of romance, I feel like this is going to be a good mix for you. Now, if you're somebody who is more just about you like the romance with a little bit of fantasy dashed in, this probably won't be for you. You might not enjoy this as much. I definitely enjoyed it, and I enjoyed the slow burn buildup of the relationship of the main characters. I really enjoyed it. I'm pleasantly surprised with how much I enjoyed this book, and I can't wait for the second one to come in. And I could definitely see myself rereading this one multiple times. It was just a very, very enjoyable read for me. Let me know what you think. Have y'all read this book? I'm always interested to hear what you guys have to say. Let me know. Are you a fantasy person? Are you a more of a romantasy person? I'd like to hear people's perspectives, because I think this is a really good blend of high fantasy, or what could be considered high fantasy, and romance. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. Happy reading.